Mic check, mic check. Looks pretty good. Oh, I'm furious. I don't mean to be. There we go. Hello, hello. It's another. Oh, God. Okay. I'm feeling a bit better after eating, even if it doesn't sound like it. Even though it sounds like I'm dying right now. What's up, everyone? Back from my break from Tales of Arise, and we are now here tonight for some more Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last we left off, our bro Kazuma said he's gonna fight us, but that also he wants to see us in the opposite court chair. And Van Zeeks also wants to see us in that court chair. So we're gonna just hop in and see where even we start at, because it's all of our bros in one room. Yeah, even if Van Zeeks doesn't want to be our bro, he's actually our bro. We also have to find out what's up with, like, Red Gang. That we, like, were just introduced to. And we already are like, yeah, that's Crime Gang. Like, for sure. Okay. 1st November. 2nd November. 8:56 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's Antechamber. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air.
There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose.
Yes, I think so. Can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please.
Oh my, I do apologize.
Making him feel bad.
However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. I mean, I think all of our trials so far have been quite non-ordinary. I don't think we've had a single ordinary trial, except for, like, the ones in... Every trial we've had... With summation examination. Nobody does that anymore. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected. What?
A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago.
A closed court. Oh man, that means it's us and the judge and Kazuma. Good morning, my dear fellows. Oh, your hair's fixed. Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, one must agree. Yeah. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem, is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. Was he just saying, like, I'm just gonna... maybe this one will work.
Orange.
I wonder what other colors he had to go through before he got back to his normal color. Watch that not even be, like, his normal color. Like, he takes off the mask and there's, like, a different color going on under there. Like, under just that patch. You have no idea how much my stomach ails me this morning.
Maybe you should have dyed it red in the
Yeah, maybe you
first
shouldn't have just
place.
dyed it red in the first place.
Oh dear, how awful for you.
I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. We don't know about that Reaper, though. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there's at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be... Your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes.
Thanks.
After all, behind this lawyer, there's a very great mind. My own. Sholmes, goddammit. What are you trying to say?
I'm basically your
I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in.
Oh, sorry to barge in.
Gina and Mikotoba.
What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium?
I need to see you in court.
It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Police inspector? I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies of the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see.
Odo.
Oh, yes, Gina.
Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on?
We can take
This
one
this
more
Reaper
on there.
bloke. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss.
And everybody said it was you.
Yeah, everyone...
In other cases, and we took your case.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, Gina. But I just don't believe that.
Well, if it weren't him, who was it?
We don't know yet.
I don't know that. Yet.
I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him.
Yeah, she doesn't like him. Fiery eyes, indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing.
Eh?
At least that may be some solace to the deceased. It's like, listen, whoever did this, fucking, I hope they get justice too.
Please, Odo. Get whoever did this for the boss.
Oh, you better believe I will.
Oh, Gina. I ain't feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you've got to find who done this and make the wretch pay.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please.
Will do.
Will do. All right then. Here we go.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zeeks.
Oh man. And across us, the lost bro. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Da-na-na. What is that? What was that supposed to imply? Was it Sholmes? Come on, man. It can't be. No, I don't want it to be him. 2nd November, 9:20 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Yo, it looks so much emptier without the jury. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Baroque Van Zeeks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, he's more than ready. Well, I'm more than ready than you.
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels. But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been scourged like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder.
The truths revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions through the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present, but by Her Majesty's direct orders.
How'll that work, my lord?
Who's that in the gallery then?
Yeah, probably like other big names like Mikotoba, I guess. Like just no regular civilians, but like
But
people in
other
law.
police people and stuff can come.
That's my guess.
I think they just did change that.
Yeah, they also probably just didn't change the background. That might just be a video game thing. How will that work, my lord?
The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jurors' bench shall remain vacant today.
If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
Okay.
Members of the judiciary.
Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
There's of course another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings, on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. And this is the reason why I had to come to prison.
Kazuma?
This is the reason I had to come to Britain.
Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
The Professor case.
How sure are you about the time of the incident?
Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot and have all reported the same time.
There was like nobody on the street that day, though.
Well, that's because they got taken in, right?
Yeah.
They were in on the street when we got there, but apparently there were people on the street.
Okay. I'm wondering if it's like a ghost town and it's just they were hired witnesses. Yeah, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses.
I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet.
That's why I was wondering why they...
But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of a barrel.
Wait. Because the candle had scorch marks.
I know.
So it was
That's
also
why
close
I
to the
said
gun.
There's probably 2 shots.
Oh yeah. That
They
makes
were
sense.
like, oh, it passed through Gregson through this candle. I was like, why the F is it black?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. See, I thought the bigger thing was the angle in that it was like up.
In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range.
I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, counsel.
The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. Let's check. Let's see it. Name Tobias Gregson. Coroner
Gory.
Gory. Where was that name? Have we heard that? We've heard that name before, haven't we?
No.
I thought we did. Tobias Gregson, nationality British. Time of death. No time of death noted. Cause of death. Victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front. Resulting in instant death, court march part of entry. Bullet exit the body from behind. Additional observations. The caliber of the gun used matches that of standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary. Time of death is not on there.
I guess that means anybody in this courtroom got a shot.
Yeah, anybody in
All
this.
of you are issued.
All of you are issued this gun. It could have been you.
The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim.
And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord. Not conclusively.
Bravo, Kazuma-sama. For not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven.
Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There's a candelabrum mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile.
We noticed that too, didn't we?
Yes, that's right.
Well, thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord.
The crime scene floor plan has been entered into the court record. I don't think there was anything there that we couldn't see from the preview. Not yet, anyway.
Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode?
No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. But there is precious little furniture inside, and is generally in a poor state of repair.
So what on earth was Gregson even doing there?
Presumably it was investigating some case or other.
When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot.
Oh, he was holding the gun? But, I mean, that's a like, oh no, what's this doing here? You think
us.
you think he did what Naruhodo did? Of like, what the hell's this gun doing
He's
here?
as stupid as us.
Did he also do the classic mumble?
Evie Vigil
Yeah.
said she went to the police with her missing persons report before she came to Shones.
Yeah.
Gregson takes cases that
Other guys
other
don't.
guys don't.
Ah.
And her picture was there.
I
Do you think
mean,
he took interest in the missing person?
in the missing person? I mean, I wonder if it was something like, it's something that he was involved in already.
Yeah.
And
what
that's
we were thinking
probably,
before, but
yeah.
I was just thinking also if she's gonna come into it.
I wonder if it's one of those things of like, oh, hey, I'm bringing this case to you, Gregson. Can you help it? And he's like, oh shit, I'm already working on this. Okay, nobody else work on this. I'm working on this. It might be that kind of deal.
Hello, Minamichi.
Howdy, Mina. Can't stay because of work. Have fun. Woo, we will. I mean, well, as fun as we.
it'll be fun.
I don't know about fun, but you know, we will uncover this story as fascinating as it is. Hello from the future, or I mean, hello from the past, as you'll be watching this in the future. And I like the hype, Toby.
But yeah, it will be intriguing. But we'll.
It will be
sad
intriguing,
about
but we're probably gonna be sad.
The details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
A name, please, Counsel.
Naturally, the accused himself.
Lord Van Zeeks.
As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken, and will be compelled to tell the truth.
But there's gonna be something missing from what he said, or something that doesn't make sense with the scene as we've seen
Well,
it.
he's gonna be like what he told us, where he's like, "Yeah, I heard a gun wound or a gunshot too, and then he fell down and he died." Like,
Yeah.
he was there, and they found him there, and he doesn't seem to know where it came from either.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if the bullet came from outside, like from behind the candelabra.
A sniper?
Like a sniper type of thing? Like, I wonder.
Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand.
Oh, we're
Then
going.
it would get the powder marks, but there's powder marks.
Yeah, but there's powder marks on him too. So yeah, the 2 guns is still possible.
I would have liked to see the body.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're not getting a photo because there's something in the photo that's useful to us, so we probably don't get to see it yet.
So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Baroque Van Zeeks, Old Bailey prosecutor.
I presume, Lord Van Zeeks, that you heard Prosecutor Asogi's opening precis.
I did.
It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yep.
Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth.
I must say, Lord Van Zeeks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it.
I'm not the Reaper.
Your formal testimony then, witness.
Witness testimony. The facts of the incident.
I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside, and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor.
So I picked it up.
And just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream.
Like us.
Oh, he is just. I mean, maybe he didn't even see the body, right? If it was
It
dark.
doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
Because he said it was too dark.
Yeah, it was too dark. So he went into a dark room and saw it.
That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it?
That's kind of glossing over the fact
You're
that
right.
he went in a room he couldn't see anything because it was
Yeah.
dark.
There's some extra stuff there, I'm sure. One sec. I have to. My head's a little to the right. I gotta nudge myself over a little.
Also, he said he wasn't going to do that, Kazuma.
Yeah.
He's not gonna make excuses.
He's not gonna make excuses.
You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi.
Oh, it would appear to be a singular tale indeed.
Singular isn't the word. It's laughable.
What's gotten into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all.
Well, you haven't seen him.
Yeah,
before,
we've
like
never
a
seen him.
prosecutor
We've never
before.
seen Prosecutor. We've never seen Dark
It seems
Kazuma.
to be built into every prosecutor in this game that you need to mock people.
Yeah, you've gotta
get
be
your
evil.
point across. You need to make their point seem insignificant.
Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. All right, let's press it all. We're gonna. Why did you go into a dark room, Zeeks? Ooh, and look at the bottom. It's Kazuma's profile pic. The facts of the incident.
I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address.
Why were you investigating?
Why were you investigating Gregson? Why were you investigating? You were investigating the inspector. What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Sorry?
I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed.
Is the court to understand then that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene?
No, I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office at the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office? In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense.
Good thing we're not in Japan.
As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zeeks?
I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim illegally, and yet you refused to tell the court why. That sounds pretty sus to me.
Oh, no. I don't want to bust that out right now.
I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath.
Yo, Cosmo's acting like Act 1 Zeeks.
Yeah. To get in cases that are of the highest secrecy,
Yeah.
then he's allowed to not divulge whatever he wants.
Gregson put up a huge
so
fight.
much in that other one.
But it's also because, like, he
National secrets.
National
That's what I mean.
secrets.
He's just going, I'm not at liberty to say.
Yo, man, higher priorities. He's like, I'll go to jail over this. Because that other thing is way more intense. Why did I ever think I could defend this man?
When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside, and I saw no one.
You really like that court record.
I really like the court record button today. I keep switching how I'm holding the controller and I keep hitting it. Had you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learnt of the place as a result of my investigation into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything.
But at 5 p.m., the sun would only have just gone down. It would have still been reasonably light outside.
But the windows are boarded up.
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yeah, if the light's coming in from, like... I'm gonna have to use my burger as a pointer. If the light... Nope, not my head. Ooh, oop. Oh, yeah, let's put my head lock in. I cannot interact with my burger. Give me a second. My burger is locked in. I need to unlock the burger. There. Yeah, if the light's coming in from, like, around here...
Well, that's like very
it's
little.
probably, like... And if it's very little, it'll probably be, like... You just see, like... What's out here. Because the light still has to come, like, down. Because it was at the top of the window that was open, so... This is all kind of dark.
Circled.
Yeah. Probably there to get your
I would
attention, to
say
get you in
that
the room.
The door would probably cast a shadow if the oil lamp is from that side.
Yeah, that too. And that's another thing. The door opens this way, so even if he opened in and looked at the oil lamp, like, you're not seeing that unless you go in the room.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph.
When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
Okay, well, that gets rid of the hidden body behind the door thing.
I mean, well, he didn't see it when he came in.
Yeah.
And then you're going the opposite direction.
Yeah, I didn't catch his attention. And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor.
So, I wonder if it's his dead body is there, shot, and then someone else just goes bang in the room just to get the attention, and at the candle, yeah. So who fired the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room.
But you say it was very dark in there.
Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence.
They were a ninja, or they had this set up.
Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room?
No, that's out of the question.
Oh.
Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder.
Oh. This is going from bad to worse. Yo, we need Gina in on this so that she could tell us how you could have snuck in that room.
And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct, and I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part.
Presumably, then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands.
Yes.
In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not.
What?
I think that was placed for him to pick up.
The
just
barrel
like
of the
ours.
revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder.
So that was probably the gun that was used to kill Gregson. And that's probably just been sitting there for a bit.
Yeah, and then they fired
And
another
then-
one to set the scene.
But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired?
Do you think that
Whilst
it
I
was
wouldn't-
like from the fireplace, shot up at the candle, and they went back up the fireplace?
Yo, from the chimney? Yo, chimney assassin? Maybe. I think if it was chimney assassin, if he's heading towards a lamp, he probably would have seen it. Like a flash of the powder as it ignites.
Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that.
Oh.
Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream.
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume.
That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street.
Oh, who are these merchants?
Yeah, who immediately
Yeah.
runs towards a gunshot?
Yeah, who runs towards a
Like,
gunshot?
pretty much everybody says when you're getting attacked, don't yell for help about being attacked because people won't come help you.
Yeah,
You're supposed to yell stuff like fire and things.
just to get people's attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, oh man, I'm being attacked, people are like, well, I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, people don't want
They
to
will
get
not.
in, yeah.
So who runs towards a gunshot?
Yeah, no, that's weird behavior.
A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene.
How convenient.
A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she?
They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process.
You're supposed to be the Reaper.
The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A police patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion, and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction.
So yeah, see, you don't run towards.
Yeah, you don't run towards gunman.
If as soon as you open the door, you see a man with a gun, you go.
Like, what are you gonna... Like, why would you run
What did you
towards gunman?
expect?
Yeah, you run in, see dude with gun? Yeah, I'm out, man.
It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth.
Or somebody lit the candle.
As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more.
I mean, distraction sound?
Yeah.
I see.
After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson.
What if Gregson was on the back of the door? Or something, right? And like if you open the door gently, he's like on there, and then you push it, he flies off or something like that.
Most curious circumstances indeed.
How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea.
Objection!
Oh, what?
I was gonna say, whose voice was
Yo. Surely the court has heard enough.
Surely the court has heard enough.
Oh, I'm sticking with the cool guy voice I gave him, even though I heard that new objection.
that? I mean, we don't give Naruhodo the voice that his voice actor has.
Yeah, Naruhodo just gets my voice. Anytime I'm playing, like, protagonist character gets just my voice.
I think that the viewers are much more used to your voices for
Yeah.
everybody than the, like, one voice clip that some people have.
That's true.
My lord, the cross-examinations clearly revealed that the accused, Barak van Zieks, is lying on multiple fronts.
What? What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say?
In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum.
How does that prove anything?
If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle.
Then why is it got
The problem
power
comes
marks?
when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length.
Yes, I can see that only the candle appears to have been only the one candle appears to have been struck by the bullet. Is long.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others.
That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Oh!
That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would still have been burning, so the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. Oh, and now to the next lie.
There's more?
The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before.
And we can prove he's been there before?
That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. We saw it too.
It goes without saying the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago.
So
10 years ago.
Pertains to Zeke's, which means he's been there before?
And there's a common thread linking all of the documents on that board.
Indeed. What is this common thread, counsel?
They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barak van Zieks.
Oh,
Yeah, but
so,
like
this
someone's.
sounds like your room, Cosmo.
Yeah, Cosmo, that sounds like your room.
All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
But that's also something Gregson could have been working on. Like, it could have just been like
That's
someone
kind of
else.
Something anybody could be working
Anybody could be working on
who
that.
is interested in the whole Reaper business.
Yeah.
Interestingly, none of the defendants are alive to graves by the Reaper.
Proof that he was been in there before.
That's
Oh no.
London gossip.
Oh,
Everybody's interested in that.
correlation is not causation.
In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations.
Well,
You can't prove that at
I was
fucking
gonna
all.
say, well, great, because we know Van Zieks isn't actually
Yeah,
the
we know.
Reaper.
He's been investigated to be not the Reaper. It's been checked.
And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout. No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand.
We disagree.
What?
Strongly disagree.
Strong disagree. I mean, you can't prove that it's his hideout.
Many people make a clippings board about themselves.
Yeah. You're not gonna make a clipping board about yourself. Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. Because he knows about those cases. And he would get rid of them. Like, he would get rid of them. Like, if it was him.
I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barak Van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to this country. However, it is with deep regret I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with known facts.
That second one is a fucking...
conjecture.
That's fucking conjecture. Get that shit out of here.
All I've done is state the truth as I know it.
Cozuma's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable.
Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Yeah, do it. Do it. Give us more evidence.
Thank you, my lord.
The notice board has been entered into the court record. All right, let's look at that.
And now, the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question.
They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember.
Yes, the street salutes heard the gunshot and went running into the room. Yo, red hair? Red hair?
Very well. Lead the witnesses in.
Red hair gang?
The defendant may step down from the witness stand.
Certainly, my lord.
If they all have red hair, I'm gonna yell. I don't trust them.
Little Red Riding Hood?
Beppo! Fucking Beppo! Beppo, I don't feel bad for you anymore.
Beppo's a liar.
Beppo's a fucking liar. Get that old man out of here. Beppo confirmed piece of shit.
Beppo lied on the witness stand under oath.
About every single thing he was asked.
Every single statement.
Every single statement Beppo was asked.
So,
he fucking lied.
I gotta say, if you can just be like, well, all of the stuff on the bulletin board was about Van Zieks, so it's Van Zieks' place. We should be like, everything Beppo says is a lie. So
Beppo's a fucking liar. Also,
Beppo gets out of here.
Also, look out for little BB Hood there. I'm pretty sure that's a Darkstalkers character, who's like, the little Red Riding Hood there. Wait, let's see if we can get a shot for them.
So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
So little Red Hood on the left there is, Little Red Hood on the left reminds me of a character from Darkstalkers who's like, oh, I'm an adorable little Red Riding Hood, and her picnic basket is full of grenades and knives, and she's like insane, psycho.
I feel like most Red Riding Hoods that are new ideas of Red Riding Hood
are like Murder Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Names. We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us.
We're just free and easy. Sell what we like, live where we want to live.
I can give them all the vacant stairs. They will walk down Fresno and spread a few rewards into a verse for them.
So now that he
It's been a few rewards
was a
for them.
liar and got fired
Yeah, he got
from
fired.
the coach driving business, he's part of, we don't have
Now he's part
names,
of-
we just do what we like.
He's part of Street Gang.
Ah, would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street?
Hey, Goss. Everyone calls me Gossip. I don't even know what voice to give this guy. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by, you know. Jaunty little tidbits? Tidbit. Got an absolute smash for you, sir. Right up your ginnel, it is. 6 pence is the price, and not a penny less.
We're not paying you to make your
We're not gonna
witness
pay you to make your witness testimony. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Ah, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested.
Try the man.
Give him the money and see what it is.
No! He is
Pray
here.
the man, counsel.
He's
What?
here.
All
to
right, all
testify.
right.
We're
Sixpence.
not paying
What?
him.
Why do I have to pay him?
The judge-
You won't regret it, sir. Now got your listening ears on. Just between us, a young couple on Slate Street have just had twins.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
That was not worth sixpence.
I'm sure that they told all of their friends and handed out cigars.
I'm sure that's not even a secret. Is that it? No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? It wants to spread, but that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes. About what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely, that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking from under your collar.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
he's
what the
been
fuck?
Strangled.
Have you been threatened lately?
What about the next witness then? What name do you go by, and what do you sell?
Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school
She
kids.
does have grenades.
She does have grenades. It's Little Red Hood. She's back. Darkstalkers lives. Oh my.
6 pence a pop. What'd you say?
Yeah, give me some. I want that. Give me that. You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell? Oh, fuck yeah. Kids love shit like that.
Oh yeah, the second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
It's Little Red Hood. It's her.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What'd you say then, eh? Want to part with 6 pence for a pop?
No.
No. Wait, what? You want me to buy one? I mean, what if we buy one and gets into the court record? That might be useful.
Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom.
Try the woman.
By 100?
Give her the money to see if she's right.
Pray the woman, counsel. What?
Blow up the courtroom?
All right, fine. I'll buy one.
Lovely stuff. Right then, it's something a bit extra, just for you. The Venus Special, only 600 pence.
What? 600?
It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there?
And there'd
Sound
be
like a
nothing little about
gunshot
the
when we
punishment
set it off.
if I blew up the Old Bailey either. Yeah, does it sound like a gunshot if you fire it off? Yeah, it's gotta be. What sort of bang could it make? It's gotta sound like gunshots.
And the last witness, what name do you go by, and what do you sell?
I think I'm me. Think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Because I stand there on the street, watching the world go on about me, they call me the Observator.
Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it.
Because you got a sandwich going
So,
on.
you don't actually sell anything.
Problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do, and think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no. Come to think of it.
Hot actual no.
Pity.
No more purchases today, please.
Oh, well, we have quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime.
Did they? Well, I'll be bagged, I thought. Just between us.
Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What terrible thing I saw.
What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow playing with our eyes, is any of it real?
Okay, whatever, Sandwich.
Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
I just don't trust Beppo.
I don't trust any of them.
Yeah, all these guys are like super sus.
Can we look at the court record?
Let's do
Can we
it.
light
There's been a lot. There's been a lot.
Let's light that jank up. Ooh.
Da na na.
What's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look.
Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint.
And the color. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear. How disturbing.
The details of the notice board have been updated in the court record. Yup, that's useful. Feet? Nope, nothing on the feet. Let's take a look.
And the details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there?
This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look.
Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here.
Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Sholmes has picked out.
And do you remember? There was a red hairpiece at the scene too.
Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League then? Anything else? Just checking. I don't think so. Okay, that's that. Let's check the firecracker. I wonder what this sounds like. Anything? Oh,
Gunshot.
wait. There we go.
Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that it's a Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like.
Shall we find out?
Yes.
What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Bang! Alright. That was a fairly sizable bang.
My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. It sounded almost exactly like...
A gunshot.
It goes off like a gunshot. How crazy.
These three were
Why would
paid
she
off.
Why would she sell us that? Yeah, these guys are paid off for sure. They're either paid off or in on it.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building.
They went in the building?
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
It seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran to the room and there he was. The Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
I was scared after death, May, so I ran off to find a copper.
If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building?
Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barrack Van Zeeks.
And themselves.
I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folk love stories like this. I've made myself a...
The room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it.
All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased.
And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone.
Oh, the testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No! Oh no, already? You're telling me you're already reaching a conclusion? Only one trial part in?
But we've heard from 4 people.
Oh man, amateurs. This trial's not ending for another 6 hours.
It's because summation examination.
No, summation examination's not in the room. We have to yell at the judge directly.
Yep.
Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses.
Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this, without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony. Somehow.
At least the judge is usually smarter than the jurors.
Yeah, the judge is alright. And the judge of this game is, like, not as goofy as in other games.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building.
Hold it!
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zeeks? I suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty.
Oh.
But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last. That's for sure and certain.
Last.
Who's the first guy that went in? I need to know. It's not Gregson. Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other? Nah. Not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Am I sure? Does it seem likely I'd forgotten a fella with bright red hair like that, does it? What?
Yeah, is that really what red, wasn't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even.
That fiery red mark still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, it is?
Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead?
Weren't you listening, chum? He was a redhead, and he had a big trunk with him as well. But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red, not by any stretch of the imagination.
It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party.
No, we found a wig. I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct.
What?
Just have a look at this photograph of the
we got a
victim taken at
photograph.
the scene.
We wanted to see what his body was like.
Yo, they put the red wig on him after he died, man.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
that's not
That's
like
not fully on.
that's not on there.
That's like tossed in his general direction.
Yeah, that was thrown at him, not even put on his head. That's Inspector Gregson, all right.
And a red hairpiece.
Oh no.
Of course. We saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we?
I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
Oh, the color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel.
Let's look at it.
The photograph of the victim has been entered into the court record. Let's check it out.
Looks like you can see his whole body. It only showed us the zoom in of his head.
Oh yeah, it wants us to only have that zoom in of the
But
head
we want to
prominent.
look at the rest of him.
Yeah, we're gonna look at the whole. Oh, over here. Okay, holding
Where's
nothing.
The wound?
Where's the wound? Yeah. Why is he like on the blood?
He's like in a pool of blood, but where's the wound?
Yeah, where was he shot? Where was he shot? Wait, where's court record?
It just says in the front point blank range. Chest.
Chest. Scorch marks. Body exited from behind. Okay, unless he's covering the body, but still, it looks like
I
he's
mean,
like
if his
on.
arms are covering it is all, but I feel like
Like it looks
then-
weird.
then wouldn't it be on his like front of his coat there a
Yeah.
little bit where it's coming out?
And a lot of that blood looks like it doesn't look like it got on him at all.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We got the photo. And what became of the trunk the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying?
I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene.
So it just disappeared.
So the rather large trunk had Gregson dead inside of it,
Oh god, imagine.
and then they set up the scene.
Oh yeah, probably.
What do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do ya? I definitely saw him in the dark going in though. No question about it. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
Hold it!
By which presumably you mean the gunshot.
I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it?
And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building.
That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang, it went. Just like that. Well, he's the Reaper, isn't he? It's what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it?
I think we get the message.
The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clearer motive for the crime.
But there's nothing in that hideout that's incriminating. incriminating. There is not a single incriminating piece of evidence in that hideout.
Yes, it's certainly an eminently credible motive.
Not credible. Because it's not Peter's.
It's not credible.
Van Zeke's spot.
Yeah, it's not Van Zeke's spot. Great.
And at that point, you ran inside. Is that correct?
It seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip could wait to go and see what had happened.
Hold it!
What had happened?
So, when Gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too?
Well, I'm a bit hampered, see? All the sides of that, and I can't move very well.
You're way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand.
What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr.
Beppo.
Sandwich. Yeah, Beppo. But is it possible you and I have met before?
I'm not anybody, me. The signs are what make me who I am now. I signed, therefore I am. I signed, therefore I
Don't
am.
remember I'm Beppo, because then you'll remember what
Oh,
I
yeah, here you go.
am.
So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago then?
No.
I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot.
Turn down King Henry Street and the Black Widower's Arms is just there.
Oh dear, you've made him hide behind a sign.
It's fine.
Life is full of surprises. It's Beppo.
Ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
Hold it!
So then you were the first person to arrive on the scene. You know what I mean?
That I was. Kicked the door open like a professional, I did, and yelled out, "What's going off here?"
I think you just screamed.
Lord Van Zeke's claims all he heard was a man scream, though.
I burst into the room and let out an "Ah!"
And was it dark inside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
Really?
And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
Ah, I see. Even though Lord Van Zeeks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall.
And the next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Beric Van Zeeks. That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave that Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Oh.
Watch Beppo be like, I heard a very feminine scream.
And he ran back.
I heard a very feminine scream, and when when Gossip came back, he was crying. I think he also went to go change his pants.
You have something to add, Mr. Sandwich?
No. There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am. Just 2 slices with no middle. So I don't know what you could want with me.
I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean.
What I think is, we're all nothings, really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers.
That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now.
We've been paid well for this.
Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich.
When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside.
That's it?
Ah, you rotten beggar. I told you to keep that a secret.
I was trying to be a cool guy.
He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all 4s. That's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Gossip, is this true? Did you cry and run off? Like a bitch? Or a baby?
The floor was dead slippery. That's why.
planted my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck.
Oh, and
What?
touch something.
Wait, a pool of blood?
As in the scene of the crime was put up.
Yeah.
Fell on that sign, and then they propped it up like, look at this motive for Van Zieks to kill Gregson.
But listen here, even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving that Reaper a cold hard stare. And don't you forget it.
Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand?
I did, happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? So I was scared, so I slipped over. We could keep it just between us, can't we?
This is a closed court, man. Who's gonna know?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm gonna have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony.
Oh, if I must.
The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
That's right, be truthful.
Be
because
truthful.
No one outside this court is gonna be allowed to talk about this anyway.
I slipped over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly wiped it off on the floor. Ooh.
That's what I said, he's
I think that's the
handprint.
board. Yeah, that's the
what I
handprint,
said,
yeah.
It was down there. And
then they
somebody
flipped it up.
propped it up to be like, look at this motive.
No, I don't think it was look at this motive. You know what I was? I think it was look at this body. I think the board was covering Gregson, and then it's just like, goes to pick it up. Oh no, what's this?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You wiped your hand on the floor. Well, who wants blood on his hand, eh? Horrible stuff. You might have thought I'd done it. Huh, no ta.
And you didn't think that might be a problem?
Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They'll get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss. That's a message from all of us.
Cosmo did.
Oh, Cosmo didn't like that.
Is something wrong, counsel?
No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor. That's all.
Don't come at me with that. You can't intimidate me.
I think you can. You look like you've been strangled recently.
Yeah, it looks like you're very intimidatable. You also look like you've just been strangled.
I know what I did. I wiped it off on the floor, the blood.
I wonder, could that be what happened?
Mr. Naruto.
We've got evidence.
I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue.
Can we present the evidence?
You want to present the evidence? Let's present the evidence.
All right, we got a present for you, gossip.
Check this.
Oh, so you did wipe it on the floor.
So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that?
Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? That doesn't really matter.
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting?
Objection!
If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. Oh, you're not Kazuma anymore. You're Prosecutor Asogi in this
Oh,
courtroom.
it's time to Columbo you.
Yo, we are lawyers before friends right now. Huh? Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor.
What are you trying to say?
There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Ah!
Oh, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood.
Sir, could you place your hand here and make sure
You're
the
dead right.
size?
That's my right hand. I'd know it anyway.
Oh, okay.
He's like, yeah, fuck it, that's my hand. I'll admit to that. Oh, I like Little Red Hood's dress. Even if she's evil, I can't deny that she's pretty cute.
I mean, she's been paid off.
Yeah, she's been paid off, so, I mean,
It doesn't really mean an alignment. It means bribable.
yeah, bribbable.
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
What? No, you can't. Nah, Kazuma. Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there.
Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim, in an upright position. Even had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time. It would have been a considerable distance from the body.
Yeah, you're right. That doesn't make any sense, does it? How about we discuss that?
Seems like somebody tampered with the scene of the crime.
Yeah, it's almost like the scene was tampered with.
Almost like that last case where we put away your head forensic scientist.
Oh my god, yeah, the forensic scientist one was like the most blatant, like, shit was faked.
So maybe there's some more corrupt people on your team.
Yeah.
I fell over when I came across the body, so I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room.
In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory.
But the
Yeah,
handprint is.
it is.
Huh?
There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. He's like, yeah, dude, it is fucking weird, isn't it? It's like, your shit makes no sense. Yeah, you're right, it doesn't. That's why I'm pointing it out, durr.
I take it you formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel,
We're starting
regarding
to.
this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene.
I have, my lord. The discrepancy between the witness account and the location of the handprint is explained by... Well, the handprint, the board moving, false testimony.
I think the board.
The board moving is just like, it's just simple. It's the easiest thing. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down.
Oh, good gracious, so it is. If the witness has put his hand against the board, the fingers would be pointing upwards.
What? What does that tell us?
It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor, as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved.
What?
Coquella Gossip's stance.
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who.
I don't know that yet, but the point is,
The point is, this is a setup.
when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point.
And that would be...
The scene's been tampered with.
The position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord.
So, Counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated?
Okay, so it must have been like around here.
Beside the body.
Yeah, beside the body. So that's probably why Van Zieks didn't see shit, because it was just behind a board.
That makes sense.
Take that!
This is the only possible location. Oh, thanks for rounding up for me there, game.
Immediately adjacent to the doorway.
If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. My yak! If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker.
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him.
Yeah,
Because the board fell over.
That's true. Or in his precise words,
Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. I only saw it after that moment.
I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me and ain't no mistake. 'Cause it was me that kicked the door open.
Which flew it into the board.
if you look again at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force.
You would knock it over.
Kaboom!
That can't.
The door struck the notice board, knocking it over, and making the victim's body visible.
Oh, good gracious.
My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Oh yeah, take that. We did 1 pip of damage to him.
Order! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now?
After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it. of a just, oh, this doesn't belong here. It would be over there, wouldn't it? Into the position where the police, myself, and my colleague saw it when investigating the room.
Witness, what have you to say for yourself?
What? Me, my lord? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You'll each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime.
Just stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message.
We left the scene.
We left the scene to get coppers.
Which gave the opportunity
for us,
somebody to go in.
Oh yeah, Mystery of the Moving Board. I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it. That's all.
Don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just aside the crossroads of life.
It was that Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored. That's... damn, you got me there, Gossip. I don't know how I couldn't have seen that one coming.
I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
No, I don't know about that.
Didn't. I'd press that
I'd
one.
press that one.
The time of death is unknown.
So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened.
That's right, yeah. It don't pay to expect too much.
It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think.
Do you? Really? Do you think that, Beppo?
In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene.
Huh.
In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Barak Van
The
Zeeks.
one who didn't know Gregson was in the room.
Is the one who didn't know Gregson was in the room.
None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances?
Yeah.
Yes? Why would I say no? Yes, I'd like to just quit. I'd like to just give up and lose.
Yeah. Us finding a suspicious
Let me just
thing
give
we
up
should
here.
give up.
This doesn't work in our favor right away. Let's just give up.
Sorry, Zeke.
Sorry, Six.
Very well. You may proceed, counsel.
He's right. Your face does scream bored.
Yeah, your face screams bored. As in boring. Oh. Mystery of the Moving Board.
I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all.
Did you? So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on?
Not the floor.
Admit it. What's to admit? It's there plain as day for all to see. Smashing print of my right hand.
Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint. So you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you?
No. Imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man?
I love the self-discredit defense. The like, it was you that moved the board. Nah, I'm a weak baby. Why the
I
fuck
didn't scream, but I couldn't lift that board.
Like, look at these arms. You think I could lift anything? Nah, man, I haven't been to the gym in years. What's a gym? You see anybody else moving the board?
I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver.
Oh, that's contrary to the fact that you were like, there was plenty of light from the candle so I could see the dead body.
In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point.
Yes, so it would seem.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
Hold it!
Move the board? Me?
Nah, couldn't be. Look at my noodle arms. I'm basically a baby.
What's up, Guy McDude? How goes it tonight? Thanks for swinging by, yeah? When you say we're doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks?
Yeah, what else? There's a primary school just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow the school kingdom come.
Tired, man. Tried playing Osu while listening to me. Oh, man. I hope I wasn't too distracting. I hope you were able to get good combo.
So I've been telling on them, letting the teachers know what they're up to.
Oh, yo.
They get
She's playing
confiscated
both sides.
So that they keep buying, so they'll get 100.
Yo, that's a fucking play. Yo, she sells the kids the fireworks, warns the teachers confiscate the fireworks. Yo, can I get them back? Yo, what a cycle.
No,
combo.
I don't think she even cares about getting them back. She just wants the kids to keep buying more.
To keep buying more
because they will
fireworks?
Never get
Yeah.
100, because if they get 100, they'll stop buying.
Yeah, if they get 100, they'll stop buying. Yo, what a scam. Thanks, Venus. Also, when I think of Venus the Milo, I think of the legendary 5th Ninja Turtle that Captain McD is always fond of reminiscing about. She's just got a scowl and like a scowl and a thumbs up going on right now.
No, it's thumbs down.
It's a big thumbs down. She's not happy about the curve.
Not a thumbs up.
Oh, it's a big thumbs up. Me comboing? You see those baby arms? Oh, you can do it. I believe in you, Guy McDude.
So I've been telling on them, letting the teachers know what they're up to.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, kids all come back for me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see?
God damn, man. That's the hustle. What a racket.
Of course, sometimes teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life, selling explosives.
Oh my god, yo.
So she gets
Yo, Venus, yo, you're wild. Yo, this girl is nuts.
Venus is a guileful goddess indeed.
Well, telling barefaced lies is my kind of thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
Oh no! Oh, I pressed the A button! Oh, I have to go back to Beppo. Oh, scary.
The important point is, you didn't go inside the room where the inspector was killed. Isn't that right?
lies is her thing, just like she's doing right now.
Yup.
Definitely not. Wouldn't have dreamed of it, wouldn't I?
I'm great at telling lies is the perfect thing to say to court. Okay, let's go back. Let's say hello.
Hold it!
What the fuck? She's bombing the Abbey. Yeah, she's got the firecracker with the little, just little ones. Okay, we're gonna skip a little bit. Beep boop 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 bop. I'm just gonna wait until she lights the thing and then I'll stop the skip. Okay, there we go.
Busy your life selling explosives.
Okay, Venus the Godful Goddess.
Ever so good at it.
Beppo, please prove your worth more than you did in that first case when we saw you. Please tell us a single truth. Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich?
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No.
No. He won't, you know that. I know. Fucking Beppo. Did Miss Venus' statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
No. Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts.
Huh?
Let's say there was a great liar. And that great liar said without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too? Or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar.
So it is.
If someone's like, yo, are you a good liar? And you say no, they're like, that's what a liar would say. And if you say yes, they'll be like, I knew it. So the second the questions come up, people already know you're a liar. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying. Are you?
What? No, I wouldn't say that. You know, I mean, just thinking about it logically, you can put those words in your mouth. Bro, I fucking lie all the time. Oh, see, that would mean that that statement's a lie, which tells me that you're telling the truth all the time. I knew I could trust you. What a trustworthy person. That's exactly what someone honest would say.
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you?
By the way, you have a great voice. Oh, thank you. Wait a second! That expression at the end of the line.
Keep on like that,
Lies, isn't it?
and I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
Oh my god, she's Little Red Hood. She's nuts.
You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady.
Her face doesn't look innocent. She's got angry eyes.
Yeah, she's got like a mischievous face, which is like, you know, I'm about that, but also it means I don't trust that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'd be like, yeah, I'll hang out with you for a fun time, but I don't know if I want to add you to my party. So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
I'm not saying it.
I'm just.
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it, yeah. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
No, so he says no.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Old Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot had to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. Rod lie over there.
Yeah, it was me. I went up there.
Do you mean to say that you did, in fact, to betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
What did I tell you, eh?
Kabam.
I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
It's your fault for believing me. Oh god, she's gonna gaslight us. You mentioned
Took
it.
an oath to go on the stand, sir.
Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Oh, good grief!
Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah?
I do clearly remember it, or you don't.
Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
And stop throwing firecrackers.
Stop setting this place on fire, jeez.
Oh yes, my lord, of course.
Like her face screams, I'm going to trick you.
Yeah.
But it also says, you will fall for it if you fall for the charms. Maybe I did sneak a little behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where all happened.
Hold it!
Make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, suppose so. Don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'd take everything I'd say with a big pinch of salt. I'll let you know right now, I'm a big liar.
Alright, but you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
I do it because it's funny. Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything else more terrifying.
Except the fact that.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know?
I wanted to see a dead body.
I want to see a dead body.
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I had to look and see if there was anything I could tell.
Oh my
Had to rob
god.
him first.
I had to rob him first.
So I did give the place a once over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Aye, right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
What? No, why would I do that? As if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had.
The truth, please.
Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flipper thing. Sorry, flip the blaster thing.
Huh. You're telling us that you did move that board.
Haha, yeah. I think that did slip out, didn't it?
What? You daft bomb pot! I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps? To sell?
Oh, please. I should be so lucky. In my magic...
The truth, now.
I might have found this old pocket watch under the noseboard, I suppose. But a bit of junk like this can't be worth much if you ask... Ah!
Oh!
So it was you, was it? You're the one who took it!
Oh shit, yo. Yo, Gina?
Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard. For a big case he solved 10 years ago.
Ooh.
The professor case, no doubt. Boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub.
I see.
I swiped him off him once and blimey he was upset. He gave me the right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it. I meant the world to him, that watch did.
And it was not to see him cry.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then.
It's not all that, though. I took it to Jabez that night to ask how much it was worth. The old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Says it wasn't working.
Look at
Knocked
the
about
bottom.
and worthless, he called it.
Where's the chain?
No, I was gonna say, do you think that that's where the policeman brings
Oh, the
it?
policeman sticks into it. You're right. Can I combine items? I don't think I have that function in this game. That's like a virtue's last reward thing.
No, there's somebody who I feel like you could do that kind of stuff in this. No, can't.
We have to have a.
Can't Edgeworth?
We have to
watch
wait
pieces
for the
together?
right time for. Wait a second.
Investigations.
Yeah. Let's see.
I knew I should have lifted it.
Yo. Gina's about to murder this girl. The knob is missing too. Yeah, this thing's like it's been like, oh my god, it's been desecrated.
The watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh, please. Just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. No, fuck you!
It wasn't yours.
Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again.
That's enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith.
Now, children. Watch your manners.
Good lord,
Bro.
the glass appears to be broken.
More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot.
It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
So why do you want it back?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour 5.
Exactly when the gunshot was heard then.
Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
But that wasn't when he was killed.
Gregson's pocket watch has been entered into the court record. Yo, whenever there's a watch in a case and they're like, this is when the guy died, it's 100% not when the guy died.
Yeah.
I think every single visual novel or detective mystery game I played, broken watches just fucking lie every single time.
To be fair,
To be fair,
this is an analog clock.
this is an analog clock. Oh, you could set it.
No, but I mean,
Oh, what do
5
you mean?
a.m., 5 p.m.
Oh, 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. Yeah, that's true. A broken clock is right. Twice a day.
Because I think he got brought there in that big old trunk.
Oh yeah, you think he was brought over in the trunk in the morning? Yeah. Okay, let's check it out. Let's check it out.
It appeared that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least.
Let's look. Yo, yeah,
Don't
yeah. Put that shit in there.
policeman.
Put that shit in there. There's a tiny little keyhole here. Can you see?
Yes, it's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism.
Looks a little unusual, don't you think?
Yes, you need just the right key to wind it, I imagine.
Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole.
It'd be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully what we've already found.
So can we look at the
Can we-
policeman again now?
I think we can maybe look at the policeman again, but we'll invest.
Yeah.
We'll check this out first. There's tiny little stubs sticking out from the small hole here. Look.
I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time.
In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of his watch, it probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it?
Yes, of course.
Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. That means we're gonna find a small part of the watch at the true scene of the crime. When we get to true last
that
stage.
means we're gonna have another investigation phase.
And yeah, it could have been tampered with, as you're saying. So there's a lot that could have happened with a busted watch. It could just be lies, like outright too. The glass over the face is really badly cracked. Look.
It's a shame the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully.
It looks like it's been
there is
pierced.
Yeah, a specific
Yeah.
hit point.
It's been... Because that doesn't look like a drop. Like a drop would have like the cracks would have all come from the edges, but that looks like it all came from like it got hit, right? And also, that looks hit, but not the front of the watch. You know what I mean?
Open when
It was
hit.
open when it was hit.
I imagine Mr. Shums could repair it, don't you? Don't you?
Yes.
Yes, I should think so.
He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact.
But kindly remember, he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo. Not an odd job man.
I don't know about that. He's a very odd job man right now. Can I... Okay, the
Is there
prick
anything on
itself.
the back?
Nothing of note. Nothing of note. Okay.
Okay, let's look at the policeman.
Let's look at the policeman again and see if we can... See if the policeman's like, yes. Okay, we'll open up. Oh wait, we have to
Turn his head.
twist this head a little bit.
Because it's fun, right?
Yeah, it's because it's fun. Key for a door. Was it for, I wonder?
Can we inspect it
Can we
again
inspect
now?
it? Yes. Okay, new inspect. Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch?
Oh, yes, it could be.
Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose. What if it's one of those things where... Wait. Secret compartment? Or watch work? I knew it. A perfect fit.
And look, the inspector's watch has started going again.
Ah, so it's obviously just not been wound up, that's all. So it didn't stop because of it broke. What is it, Mr. Sato?
Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications.
Oh, there's someone's gonna be like, it died at 5 o'clock, and we'll be like, I mean, you can just get it to go at any time anyway.
Yeah, it would have just kept ticking.
It could have just ran out. Of anything, it proves that it wasn't at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine there's no way he was shot exactly on the hour. I mean, you know, that's not impossible, but I do agree it is unlikely. Perhaps I'd better start thinking deeply, too. Having wound up, it started ticking again. Okay, so, I mean, the fact that it still works is useful. Okay.
It would appear the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least.
And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case.
Yeah, okay.
Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, counsel.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me, just outside of the crossroads of life.
Sure you are, Beppo.
But you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you?
Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high.
So you did go to see what had happened.
It's not the destination that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it?
Can I just say that watch is cool as fuck too? Yeah, it's pretty nice actually. Actually, I have a couple pocket watches that unfortunately they are just destroyed when I own them due to I work physical labor jobs, so I can't keep them with me. The broken parts have been repaired.
But I think you then continue to break them usually.
Yeah, I think I just can't own pocket watches, which is crazy because I own other things and they don't break as much lately, but like every pocket watch I've ever owned is just like my pockets, I think, may just be full of like rocks or something when I walk around.
But yeah, you had like the dead ringer kind of one.
Yeah, I had a watch that looked like the Dead Ringer from Team Fortress 2. It was pretty sick. I wonder if I could even find that again. Wait. You know what? I want to see if I can find it. No, I mean like for the stream. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. Let me just Google it quick. Tokyo Flash watches. Let's see if I can. I'm just gonna do a quick like 5-second search to see if I can find like the pocket watch I had, because it was pretty sick.
I'd say like a pocket
Yeah. Tokyo Flash pocket watch. Pocket what watches? Because I can't search properly. Oh wow, I'm seeing cooler pocket watches. Ah, this one. Yeah, this one exactly. Okay. Oop. Let's save this image. WebP image. I don't want WebP images. Give me JPEGs. Give me a JPEG. Sold out. Save image as. No, fucking. Okay. You know what? Okay. I can't. Fucking. Wait, maybe I can save the thumbnail. Damn it, they're all WebPs. Okay, whatever. Anyway, if you want to see some cool watches, I'd say I sold out. Is this an NFT? No, it's not sold out. It's that it's a WebP file, and programs don't like working with those. But if you search like, I'm gonna type like, wait. Let me put in chat the specific one I had. Flash watches. If you want to see, I keep forgetting to type the word pocket watches. If you want to see the sick watch that I still own, but like I don't keep it on me because I'm gonna break it. Yeah, I had Rogue Touch, but I mean this one's good enough. Like this one's close enough. I think this one just has more meters on it, but this should work. Okay, wait. Let's see. Let me post the link in chat. If you want to see some sick watches, you can check the site out. Okay. Whoop. Whoop. Yeah. So there's some sick watches. This is like a different. The link I posted is a slightly different version of the watch I had, but it's chilling in my room. I have a blue one, and it's pretty much this. Pocket watches are friggin' cool. You know, as long as you can take care of them. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the game. Did you notice the notice board in the room?
If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family.
What?
So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of a sense of rivalry, I admit.
Fuck you, sign. And the sign won.
better.
Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo sinians.
Does that mean that you didn't notice the board?
I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a side at the crossroads of life.
You know, I'm glad that Beppo has admitted his shortcomings after the last trial, because boy...
well, that kind of wrecked his life.
Yeah, it ruined his life. Well, I mean, he did it to himself by lying about literally every single thing he did.
All he had to do was be truthful.
All he had to be, well, I mean...
And then he would still be...
at least employed. I love this guy. Yo. He's a funny one.
In which case, just who is responsible for moving the notice board?
It was that Reaper, I bet. He's got that face that screams bored.
He's so truthful by saying,
You know, what even is the truth? If everything's a lie, does it matter?
what exactly do you mean by that?
Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you've not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella.
I mean, okay, he's not wrong, but that doesn't correlate to the facts that we're seeing right now.
But not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes.
I can't say I'd ever noticed. He's got a funny look.
I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor. Or off the Reaper. Not for a second.
Sorry?
Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a fiend like that might do if you look away, do ya?
Yeah, I guess. If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. You should be able to tell.
Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. Well then, I couldn't have missed it if he'd heaved the thing up right again and dragged it into the corner.
Right. Glad we've cleared that up.
What happened to the face that screams bored?
I feel your pain, Kazuma. I feel your pain.
Do you think his lips are always like that, or do you think they're swollen?
I think they're swollen. I think he got the tar kicked out of him. I think he got the stuffing beat out of him.
Okay, the detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
I don't know. That's not true. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it? Ah, the glory of witness testimonies. I know, right? Especially Phoenix Wright witness testimonies.
Maybe the notice board fell over. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over. Maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way because of the gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too.
My fate?
That's right. The defense is fated to lose,
Oh, got him.
and the prosecution to win.
Oh, got him. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot.
For Van Zieks, the truest prosecution.
The truest prosecution. So if I could find some problem with that part of their story.
It may be possible to change all our fates.
The
Of
gunshot
course.
was towards fireworks.
None of that changed the fact that I heard what I heard, does it?
Okay, so. God damn, he verbally pants you just there. Not much to go on.
As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it.
But it did happen after the event, so. Maybe Kazuma's right, and it's not relevant to the case.
But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Did Beppo's statement at the end there change?
I don't think Beppo's statement changed.
Because I was going to say, if it's had the, we all heard a gunshot,
Yeah.
present the firework.
Yeah.
If it's the same, it's nothing to present to.
I've no doubt there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track, I can feel it. So follow your instincts.
Alright then. Okay, I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. Maybe I did sneak a look. Man, Gus, have a little peek into the room where it all happened. That's where we got the pocket watch. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me just assigned the crossroads of life. It was the Reaper. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. Okay, well, it says gunshot, so we can present the fireworks to it because it's literally the only.
That sounds like did you hear a gunshot? That's what he's saying, that all of their stuff hangs on this. But I think you heard the fireworks. So I'd present the fireworks.
I just wonder if the pocket watch is something like from video game reasoning. I wonder if the pocket watch is something that we needed to get, like here, which means that we would need it to advance. You know what I mean? Because otherwise we could have used the fireworks before talking to her, and we would have missed the pocket watch. So that's video game logic. But let's see. Gunshot. Let's try.
Objection.
Nope. Okay. So it's not that. So I think it's gonna be something to do with the watch.
I'm sorry, Counsel, but I fail to see why.
Okay, so even though we're pretty sure the gunshot was fireworks, it's not time to discuss that yet. So it's by video game logic, I'm thinking it's a pocket watch to something. Okay. Let's take a look. Had a little pocket.
Into that, she had a little peek. You went
Yeah.
full on in there if you took this pocket watch.
Yeah, she went full on in there. I mean, that was discussed while we were talking about it. But, I mean, I guess we'll present it. It seems great. Gossip's expression is great. He's very expressive. I enjoy that about the Ace Attorney series, is how much emotion you can see in the characters' faces.
He's got the same hairstyle.
Objection.
Oh, no. Okay.
Daily Vigil.
Does he have the same hairstyle as Daily Vigil? Wait a second. Wait a second. Do you think that's just Vigil and he just got the shit kicked out of him?
Well, that's what I said. Do you think his lips are swollen, or do you think that's just...
Wait a second. Let me just look at this.
'Cause he's got
Oh
the
my god.
curls.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Yo, that's him!
I don't know.
It's him. No, I believe
His
it.
nose looks different though.
Yeah, man. It's all the swelling. It's like all three.
I'm just a bystander, being just a sign at the crossroads of life.
Because when I was thinking that other redhead at the start was Taylor Vigil.
Mm-hmm. But this guy's looking like him more now.
But also, all of the redheads in the Redhead League might not even be redheads. They might just have wigs on.
Yeah, I suspect that most of the Redhead League is like fake. Part of the, part of the play, right?
Yeah.
We press this a bit more, I think. What got Beppo to speak up last? That was her statement, right? But that changed to this. Did we get this one? I think we did. You certainly know how to lie.
Oh, it was nothing, really. You're still porky.
Oh, okay. Okay, here you go. Mr. Gossip Vigil. Okay, so we had to press this one. With not so little implications.
Do you know, everything in the world apart from the truth is a big fat lie.
Yes.
I mean, everything aside from the lies in the world is the truth then. Wow, boo. What a big philosophical statement you made there. Oh man, we live in a society.
If you believe that, of course.
It's just like, yeah, of course. That'd be like saying that everything that is not grayscale is color. Whoa, big revelation there. Jeez.
Azamar, this desecration of the truth is really rather disturbing. I think perhaps we should move on to the next witness.
Oh, is that all we get? I don't know anything about anything. You know what? We're gonna do the rare double press.
The press, since she said something extra. To see if their stuff changed after it.
Yeah, we're gonna do the rare double press.
It's not so rare in this one.
Yeah. Okay, we're just gonna press everyone again. We did this one. Beppo round 2. Because sometimes things just happen and people get extra statements.
Yep. We've learned that
The double press.
is necessary.
the double press is a necessary move. Okay. A face that screams bored. I was scared, I couldn't. Okay. Beppo round 2. Does the Reaper's face scream bored or bored? I mean, we're gonna hit that point soon if we don't figure this out. How much to go on? Hum 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 hum
I
hum.
mean, if you think it's a pocket watch, how many statements are there?
There are 5 statements if we just throw the pocket watch at every single thing.
We already did it for her one, that one.
Don't know anything about the notice board. I mean, what if I present a photo of him smiling? I'd be like, does this look like the face of a bored man? Like, what else do we have? What do we have on the board? I mean, do we just need to remind him the fact that his hand was on that board and he literally touched it? Because I think we even discussed. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all? Yeah. I want to present a photo of Mr. Vigil to him. And just be like, hey, is this you? You know, let's examine this again. Is there anything new here? No. No, that's fine.
Do you think the watch is the thing?
If we think the watch is relevant, yeah. You know what? Let's look at the watch one more time. No.
This man's face does not say bull.
Although, what if it's also, hey, did you see these people at the crime? Is this the guy that you saw? I wonder.
They said they recognized Van Zeke.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm out of ideas. Outright. I'm just gonna mash buttons. Let's look at things. A number of ways you say. Oh, I got a new mess up quote. I can't even mash through this one.
It would serve you well to concentrate your efforts on one contradiction at a time, Counsel.
Okay. It's just that I don't like. I feel like video game logic tells me I should use the watch,
Yeah, just put it on everything.
but I don't know which one. Okay, well, all right. What do we want to go for? I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. What was his last statement? Leave Steam open. I got a new weekly episode. Watch of an anime. Ooh, which anime? I mean, maybe this is relevant to tie here. Look at the watch. Everyone look at the watch. You're all gonna look at the watch. I'm gonna die and we're gonna keep looking at this watch. Wait, actually? What? For real? I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh! At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch.
A key.
I mean, okay, so I'm glad this worked, but B, this pocket watch wasn't like even a factor until now, so why would it be contradictory to what people were thinking?
I was trying to think what his statement was. That we heard the gunshot at the time? Is it just...
Right.
Is it just being like, oh, I see you mentioned time?
I see you mentioned time, here's a clock.
He wasn't even really talking about time. He was more talking about we heard a gunshot. I don't think he cares about the time.
Yeah, nobody cared about the time, and you know what? It's fine.
It's not in the autopsy report, the time.
Video game logic let us through. Mushoku Tensei, or in English, the jobless isekai. An isekai, eh? No, I'll say outright, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of isekais, but I've heard that a lot of them are pretty funny. Even if I myself, I'm like not about them. Well, I hope you enjoy it, yo. And having won the pocket watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. The case wasn't built on this!
Which doesn't relate to anybody's statement.
Nobody was okay. Yeah, you know what? Okay, alright, we're continuing.
Order! Counsel! The watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
But we didn't even know that coming into here today. Like, why? Like, you guys are acting like you built the case on it.
The autopsy report doesn't have a time.
The autopsy report doesn't have a time.
Cared.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah, which is just when we had that gunshot.
It is exactly the hour. The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5
I
o'clock.
would say, if anything, that makes it more suspicious, the clock. Because
Yeah.
Gina said he winds it every day at the pub at the end of the day, at dinner.
Yeah, he winds it up at the end of the day at dinner, yeah.
And from what the Bobbies tell us, they work around the clock. I don't think the end of his day was 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't think the end of his day was 5 o'clock. Or maybe he stops giving a fuck about time at 5 o'clock. He's like, you know what? My clock says 5 o'clock, but my shift says I'm not over yet. I guess I'm just gonna keep working until I feel like I need to get drunk.
That's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection!
No, that doesn't hold.
Why not?
Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. He winds it up every dinner.
Boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. Like he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years. Polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day, in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well.
Yes, that would be entirely reasonable.
But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Aye.
How you explain all that then?
In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. Ooh, so from before.
Yeah,
You can't mean...
Brought there in a trunk.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with the trunk theory. But, like, he died, like, a night before? What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years?
Dead.
Obvious answer is that he was already dead. Oh, he's got the shakes. He's got the shakes.
Order! Order, counsel, that is a most extraordinary claim.
Objection.
Objection. Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before? Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that?
Well, Scotland Yard's...
On the subject.
On that subject, there's something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted.
That's right. Wait a minute. You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in. Yeah, but they looked at the body and they're like, this shit did not die at a predictable time. What do you mean?
I slept in blood.
Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood. Yes, so the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh.
Or it was someone else's
I
blood.
think it was syrup.
You think it was syrup? I mean, it could be
I think
anything.
it wasn't blood.
Oh, you think it was just outright not blood? Let me give you a lick.
He catches on fast, doesn't he?
Objection.
Look at the photo.
Yeah, that blood can be explained any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body after he...
Objection.
Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner?
We're your learned friend now? Are you gonna
What?
start calling us Nipponese
Well,
next?
it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course.
Yeah, it could just be pig's blood.
Yeah. The usual.
Yeah, that's the usual crime thing.
We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could just buy that shit fresh. Or just bring one over.
It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Oh, you don't hear, like... you don't hear wandering thoughts from the crowd. It's quiet.
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question.
A gunshot. Is it, though?
What?
Given that the time of death the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all. Oh, yeah, easy serve for us, yeah.
Oh, please. What are you trying to say?
Us lot know what we heard, and it was a loud bang that came from that there room.
Now you listen to me. Street sellers, here's our livelihood.
I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can say with certainty is that you heard a noise. Hey, I like to bring this up whenever, sounds of gunshots get brought into question. Hey, did you know that the sound of a gunshot is actually pretty easy to confuse with the sound of a big balloon popping?
Yeah.
And that a whole venue of people could believe that it was a big balloon popping?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's,
nobody wants to think, oh, what's around me? A gunshot.
yeah, nobody wants to think there's a
But
gunshot
if
around them.
They'll just be like, hey, there's balloons all around me. It's probably just that.
Yeah, the sound of a gunshot, unless you're, like, experienced with it, it's pretty easy to mix up with other things. That you heard a noise. Eh?
Explain yourself then, counsel.
A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with... this one was like, I don't think you even needed to, like, investigate it to do it, but I'm glad we investigated already.
Take that!
Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of those to fake a gunshot.
Oh, good gracious. The very fireworks that are sold by the witness.
Now hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it?
No, we're saying somebody buy your fireworks.
My pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway.
Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. Bang. Yeah, I think that was a gunshot. As the court can now attest. It sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact.
Are you trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene?
I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day, and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Barak Van Zeeks.
You can have a fuse on those things.
One whiff of a match and my firecrackers go pop. See? That's why people like them.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection!
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learnt of a very useful invention indeed. Something called, a time bomb.
Oh, good heavens, a bomb!
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like.
Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
No, wait. It's the whenever you like part that's important.
A time device.
Yes, exactly. A timed device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a timed device was employed to create the gunshot sound?
Oh wait, what if they just fucking jammed the firecracker in the candle?
Yeah.
Like they just put it...
The candle.
Yeah, what if they just fucking jammed it on there?
Take that!
Yeah. As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabrum has been blown off.
Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim.
I don't think that's possible, my lord.
Not possible. Why?
Because of the scorching. Yeah. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle.
There are. Oh goodness, yes. But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
Because he was right in front of the gun.
Yeah.
They couldn't both have been
They
right
couldn't
in front
both.
of the gun.
Unless it was like a space continuum breaking gun. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun.
Oh,
Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot.
You're suggesting it came from the fireworks.
How can that be, eh? Yeah, you just jam one of those fuckers in there, and then, like, when the candle gets down to it, pop. The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle suggests that the firework must have been right next to it when it exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. Yeah, pretty much. Culprit somehow attached. After the killer had left the scene, the candle slowly burnt down along with the other two, until eventually ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud bang. Yeah, that makes sense. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they'd heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock.
well, what a plot. And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we've been led to believe. The previous day, even.
Now, just hold your horses. All us lot here saw the victim go into the building, remember? I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair, even if I wanted to.
The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all.
Just another red.
Consider this.
Ah?
Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hairpiece.
Someone else? Do you mean to say?
Because that was the only distinguishable feature to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not even Gregson's hair.
Yeah, anyone could have worn that wig. It was the person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Pfft. Huh. Ha 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 ha. Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
It's like, who's got red hair?
Kazuma?
I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of the great defense lawyer?
Huh?
I also noted the lack of a time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired.
I mean, Japan's behind on this one, so.
I mean, I guess that's why he's like, man, we need to get Britain up and then get on their level.
Order! Order! Prosecutor Asogi! What on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe the trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But, while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Oh. Well, certainly. I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing, and where did he go on the day before the incident?
Do you know?
No. The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard?
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend?
I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well. Counsel, present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
Do we have the red ad?
It was in a newspaper. Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And we got it near the start.
Yeah.
Newspaper.
Yeah, because the Red-Headed League was on his pin board, right? I think so. Yeah, and it's like, that's the only thing that wasn't like the Reaper.
Yeah. Well, that was also, they said, the most recent thing on there.
Mm-hmm. The most recent thing on there was the Red-Headed League article. Okay.
Take that!
I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. Oh, okay, so you could have picked the red hairpiece or anything related to the Red-Headed League. You might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Oh, surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League.
So, you'd already worked it out.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception.
A reception of what in Asia, Council?
They'd been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact.
My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once.
2 redheads?
Good. Now we can see that.
Yeah, now we can see which of them looks more like Vigil.
Because what? Vigil's gonna be hiding in her.
Oh, Vigil's
stuff.
in this case somewhere.
Yeah.
What if there's like a third guy that also
So
looks like Vigil?
I'm just like, who's tall and skinny?
I don't know. I think your call on
He's got
Gossip.
the right hair.
He's got the right hair, and the fact that he's not going by his real name tells me that it's
Yeah.
probably him. I think the other guy had a more like angular face.
Yeah, it was just we saw him so little, and then I was like, missing man.
Missing man. It's got to be him.
Seen? But yeah, this guy I think looks
Yeah.
more like him.
Especially because it's like he's got a very deliberate like
The-
big nose, very big lip, and like something on his neck. Like
Which
it's
is supposed to show you, like, the photo was like, he has no distinguishable features.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like, no.
yeah. The photo actually straight up says this man has nothing going on
Yeah.
on his face, and whereas gibberish is like, whoa, look at all these super distinguishable. Yes, I think that's a cover up for who he is. Yeah. Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece, so it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. It's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events.
I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least.
The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring those 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Sogi.
At once, my lord.
Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
Ka-tunk. All right, I think that's a good time to call it for the night. I think that's a good breaking point. We're at like 11:30 right now, so it's getting really late. And I know if we start, we're gonna get extra curious. So
I just wanted to see that.
Yeah, you wanna see the redhead guy?
again.
okay, you know what? We'll continue until we see them.
Okay.
Okay. Save your current progress, because I imagine it's just gonna be like bring them to the board. Okay, so we'll take a look because just to confirm,
Yeah.
because otherwise we're gonna be thinking about it
We
all
just saw it
week.
for like 2 seconds.
We're gonna be thinking about it all week. We're gonna be distracted. You know, I won't be able to do my day to day if I'm like, was it the redheaded guy? All right, so we'll continue a teeny bit longer. But once we see those other witnesses, we're probably gonna call it, or as we are gonna call it, because otherwise we're gonna keep going forever. 2nd of November, 12:33 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber.
Oh, there you are, Odo.
What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina.
Are you sure about what you said in there? That the boss, you know, actually died the day before. It's pretty odd to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina.
As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. I mean, what if Sholmes is saying that because, like, I was talking to him last night?
Well, no, because he was saying that, like, he tipped Gina off to those redheads.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, oh, no, Gregson? And he's like, couldn't get a hold of the dude.
Ah, okay. I was more shocked than all of you put together. Is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission.
Oh dear, if it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on. When Dr. Scythe.
I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zeeks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. So perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those Leaguemen too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose.
Two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's right, Suze. It was me what took 'em in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen.
Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. We did the math last stream, and it was something like $700 a week. Like if you
Yeah, like 750-ish.
Yeah, if you translate the £4 a week at that time period to what our money
pounds this time period.
Yeah, to pounds and then to our currency. You're looking at like $750 a week. So like fuck yeah, I'd dye my hair red for like $700 a week.
Hell yeah. Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes.
Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks for some reason.
The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zeeks.
And Kazuma. I feel as though he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow.
Oh gosh, I think you're right.
What's he really trying to achieve here today?
All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. The recess will be over very shortly.
We're counting on it, Jones.
Yes, you're right. Yep, alright, here we go. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Miss Sasato?
Yes.
Okay, let's see.
I
We just want to see.
Because he didn't get added to our people. Right?
Yeah, he's not in our people yet.
But now he will be.
Yeah, and he had like a French accent, I think. 2nd November, 1 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, we're looking at Zeke's. Okay. Hello. You're not two redheads.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Baroque Van Zeeks, here present who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Sogi,
My lord.
Where's the red?
have you summoned the witnesses as requested?
Yes, 2 members of the Red-Headed League who plan to carry out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage.
Very good. Bailiff, usher the 2 men into the courtroom.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, that's not
his
him.
Eyes are wrong.
His eyes are
And
wrong.
His chin is more defined for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's gossip.
Yeah, you think it's gossip? I agree. Okay. So we'll just have to check him. That
Sorry,
look was
Chad.
enough.
We were just needing to follow our theories through.
We like to be thorough. So gossip is 100% Vigil.
Because
He's got the curls. We're gonna find that out. We're gonna see why that matters. I mean, you think he was a red-headed league man for this time? He might be. I guess there's not enough for us to go off right now to see even where we're gonna
He was
go.
still managing to keep his wife
Like paid,
rich.
like he still had money.
rich for the past 10 years, even though he wasn't working as a prison lawyer.
Yeah. Do you think he's like?
So he's doing something that makes him a lot of money.
Do you think he's like a shadow leader of the red-headed gang, and he just acts like a hobo man?
I was gonna say, well, we know that some hobo people actually just dress themselves down and are good at their trade.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
yeah.
It can pay well
Mm-hmm.
if you're good at it.
I mean, the fact that it's relevant tells me, and because he held such a prominent position before, tells me that he's probably got something going on.
Yeah.
Like, probably, I think he might be like shadow boss, maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's involved.
Redheaded League makes money.
We'll find out. We'll find out what it is. I mean, maybe he's just a regular member.
But I was gonna say, but even if he's just a street guy that sells a lot of gossip,
Yeah, that could maybe
he
make.
gets enough info.
I don't think he's getting enough info to like pretend to be rich man though, because she's like, yo, he's like super well off.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was like, he only got info for like 6 pennies. Like, I know he's making money with that, but I don't think he's making that much money. Anyway, it'll all come to light next week when we stream again, which will be on probably Saturday. But, you know, we'll see.
When you play Tales of Arise.
It depends on when I feel like playing Tales of Arise, which is kind of like all the time right now. I just got a new character on the team, and she's a boss. Pretty excited to play more of that game, which I will probably throw in bonus streams during the week because it's fun.
Because you're just gonna be playing it anyway.
I'm just gonna be playing it anyway. But yes, hope you all have a good night. Take it easy. Next stream will be like for sure Tekken if Tales of Rise doesn't happen before that. Lots of fun stuff in this case. Thanks y'all for hanging around. Hope to see you guys all next time. Peace out. And have a good night, yo. See you later.